It's a good start, a really good start to the event. I do think North Dakota State's a team kind of like us. It's probably better than what their record shows. They've lost quite a few close games. They just do a good job of taking advantage of mismatches and getting the ball to the right people at the right time. And we didn't start the game great defensively, but after we settled in, I thought we were excellent defensively for the majority of the game. And then I thought we did a much better job finishing inside. Katie did a wonderful job for us early in the winning tour, and she finished and created some open shots later on for the rest of our team. So just did really well on both ends, and real good start to the tournament.
Questions now for the student athletes. Again, just identify yourself before you go.
Jill, student with the Argus Leader, just to get that first one under your belt, how much were you guys lifted by the crowd? A new Summit quarterfinal women's attendance record here today, so obviously it doesn't hurt to have that much blue and yellow out there.
Yeah, it was just great, just running out, you kind of get goosebumps, just the noise in there, and knowing that a lot of fans are cheering for us, and definitely gives us a boost when we need them during the game. And we knew going into this event, or this game, I guess, NDSU, SDSU, that it was going to be a good crowd, and we were going to be ready for it.
Jill, Terry Vanderbeck, the Argus Leader. Was it, you guys have been, you've been at this tournament 2 years now, you kind of know how it works, but did it feel different playing a rival, you know what I mean, as opposed to anybody else?
Not really. I guess we were just looking at it as a first game, a game that we needed to win, and whoever the team was going to be, we were going to play the same way.
Okay, Jim Nelson from KSFY. Can you talk a little bit about that hot start and kind of your approach to attacking the basket early on?
Well, I guess my goal in this game was just to finish, because last game I struggled a little bit just finishing shots, and I knew that they were going to be there, so it was just good to get some shots up and know that they were going to go in, and I guess it just got me confidence for the rest of the game.
Gage, you feel you got a lot of players on the team who've been key players in this tournament before. You've been kind of a role kid in the past, but you felt comfortable taking on a little more of an attacking kind of leadership sort of role today?
Yeah, I would say so. I guess I was nervous, but I used that as nervous energy and tried to use it to my advantage.
Jill, how much does that help you guys knowing that the game is working inside, and as Coach talked about, it eventually opens things up on the outside?
Yeah, definitely. When Katie was finishing down there, she was made some big shots for us in the start of the game and carried us that first half, and that was huge. And when our posts are playing well down there, then teams are going to start doubling down, and it just opens up the perimeter a little more and easier to attack and get some threes off.
Jill, just regardless of what happens during the regular season, it really doesn't matter. At this point, you guys are where you need to be in the semifinals on Monday. Was there a concern at all in your mind, though, during the regular season that you guys were not going to get back to this point? Because there were certainly some dark periods during the regular season.
Yeah, we definitely had a rough middle season, but I think we've come together and just we're playing our best basketball right now, and I'm still trying to take it to another level, and we'll be ready to play tomorrow.
Hey, Jim Alinsky, Kelly TV. You played this team twice before. To come out and get off to a hot start and just kind of bury them early. How big was that for you?
I guess it was huge. They are our rivals, so we wanted to make a statement in this tournament to just show that we're South Dakota State, we're here, we're ready to play. And I guess.
Time for one more question for the student athletes.
Jill, is this your first start looking at the Daily Republic? Is this your first start in the Summer League tournament game?
I don't know.
I don't know. It's all the same.
Is it your first time starting?
I think it might. Yeah, I think it might be.
Is it also your first time being up in the press conference after the game too?
No, it's not. Does it sound like it is?
No.
Okay. Thank you.
All right, ladies, you're welcome to exit the meeting room. Thank you. You guys can go out around behind. Now we'll take follow-up questions with Coach.
Aaron Johnston, KWSN. You guys gave up about 7 straight buckets early, and then after the timeout, I think it was a 17-0 run. Why the early buckets, and then why the change?
I just thought they were very good offensively early on, and we probably weren't quite set defensively. There are a few times where I wouldn't call it transition, but they came down quick, and we didn't get our half-court defense set. They got a couple of early looks against us. Thought our posts were a little flat defensively early, and they got really good position around the basket a couple of times. I just think maybe a little bit of nerves. We were a little bit tight and just didn't get in the spots quick enough defensively. But after that first 5 or 6 minutes, I thought our defense was excellent. We really forced a lot of tough shots.
Do you think the nerves just came from obviously the atmosphere and the environment, and then once they made a couple plays, crowd raises up?
Yeah, I think so. I just think it's the pressure of the situation. These games are awfully important. You're playing a very good team. You're playing in front of quite a few people you want to please and make happy. I think it's human nature to have a little bit of anxiety going into that. And Katie mentioned that they're going to feel that way. They just need to build on that rather than try and avoid it.
AJ, Jeff Kopak, Inform. Was there anybody specifically targeted defensively on NDSU?
Well, I don't know that we ever individually say we've got to take somebody out. That's just not our style or system. We switch a lot of screens, for instance. North Dakota State did a good job getting us caught some ball screens. And we know it's going to happen. We're still willing to put some tough matchups for ourselves. For instance, Macy and Jill got switched off on Janae a few times. We felt like they were going to go inside, and they did a great job. She had a great game. We did a better job, I thought, on Abby today. She didn't get as many touches in good spots for her. So we talked about those ideas, but not necessarily trying to isolate a particular matchup for ourselves.
Coach Matt Henderson, KJM Radio, was it a little bit easier planning against a team that you just played 9 days before compared to, say, somebody you may have played a few weeks before?
I don't know if it's easier or not. You're more familiar with each other. They had some new wrinkles in underneath out of bounds and even in their half court that we weren't familiar with. So even though we just saw them, it was new stuff for us. I think it helped our posts a little bit better. They had an idea of what was coming. And Katie mentioned that early on. She had some really good finishes, and they weren't able to play small. The first game, we really had defended 4 perimeter players with Janae on the floor. This game, it seemed like they had to keep Megan on the floor a little bit longer just because we had both posts playing well offensively. And I think that helped our matchups too.
Coach Davies of WDAY, this is 12 of 13 now against NDSU. What is the one reason in your mind that you guys have this streak going?
I don't know. I don't really have a reason. I think we've got really good players, and I'm not saying they don't. I think they've got good players too. We've got a lot of good players that won a lot of games. We've gotten and had streaks over a lot of teams. I don't think it's been just specific to North Dakota State. I just think it's been a real good group here that's really invested themselves in being successful. So there really is no one particular reason. It's probably a lot of real small reasons that make up that difference.
What's your thoughts on IPFW, a team you split with, and a team that has come out publicly and said they'd like to play you guys in this situation?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, we've had a few teams, I guess, talk about wanting to play South Dakota State, I guess, in the tournament. And there's a lot of good teams in this tournament. We'd like to think we're one of them, but we're not the only one. And Fort Wayne's, they've had a great year. They've got a lot of good players, and we'll have to be ready to go. They play very physical. They've got great shooters. They can penetrate. They can do all of the things that good teams can do. So we'll have our hands full trying to stop them.
We have time for 2 more questions, please.
AJ, is this your first time in the post-game press conference?
I was going to say something right after, but I thought I'd let it go. I'm doing the best I can.
That's not too much, actually. Katie Lingle was a little, obviously pretty raw at Pierre High School, and a little bit of a project. Can you talk about her progress? It looks like she's really coming into her own.
Yeah, I think it's always hard for high school post players. I don't think she gets probably enough credit for the kind of player she was at Pierre, even in high school. The game is called a lot tighter, so someone like Katie who's physical and rugged probably spends a lot of time on the bench in foul trouble, so that hurts her. There's always people around her. Defensive sag off is a lot more, so there shouldn't be as much room to work. Here she's got a lot of shooters and people around her that draw defense. So, I don't know if she was as raw as everybody felt. I think she was a good player then, and now that she's here, her game probably is a little bit more geared towards the college game.
One more question.
Marcus Traxler, Collegian. You talked earlier in the week about finding another gear. Do you think you did it tonight?
I do. I really do. We didn't finish the game great. We didn't start great, but in between, I thought we played some really good basketball. We only had 2 turnovers in the first half, but we had really sharp execution. We got matchups that we wanted to and went at them. We didn't give them a lot of early looks. We didn't give them a lot of easy looks throughout the middle of that game. I do think we were better today than we were last week. And now the goal will be to try to do that again tomorrow.